Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the Drop Podcast. I'm Kimberly Mosley, here with what I hope you will find to be another insightful conversation. This week, I chatted with Maya Issa, Senior Global Investment Strategist, about Citi's publication, The Road Ahead, GCC Strategy for 2025. We unpack investment opportunities in the Middle East, what's top of mind for our clients in wealth, and what each of us can learn from the versatility and the resiliency of countries that are meeting the moment and making major money moves. Here's our latest drop. Maya, so good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
We are here together in our Dubai office, Al Wasl location, here to talk about our recent publication, The Road Ahead, GCC Strategy for 2025. In 60 seconds or less, what are some of the key takeaways from the report?
Thank you. So to start off, the GCC stands for the Gulf Cooperation Council, and it's a group of 6 countries in the region, being Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Oman. And if you imagine the GCC countries as a family, they're a family that's essentially planning for the future. And they've realized that they just can't rely on oil money alone anymore. So they're exploring new ways to grow their wealth. And that's what we're focusing on in the publication. So the gist is think of it like diversifying your own investment portfolio. And instead of putting all their eggs in one basket, which is oil, they're investing in different areas like artificial intelligence, better internet infrastructure, and renewable energy. And this is a key move to ensure that they have sustainable income sources in the future. Now, Saudi Arabia is focusing on big transformative projects. Their Vision 2030 is all about expanding into tourism, building new infrastructure, and using renewable energy to power their economy. You have the UAE diving headfirst into artificial intelligence and trying to attract talented people from around the world with new visa programs. Qatar is leveraging their strong position in natural gas while also investing in things like education and real estate. Now, the financial sector in the GCC is benefiting from elevated interest rates, which increases the difference between what banks earn on loans and what they pay on deposits. So, in a nutshell, the GCC nations are proactively transforming their economies to reduce their reliance on oil and embrace new opportunities. Now, this aligns with a broader strategy of diversifying wealth and securing long term financial stability in a changing global landscape.
Yeah, so I love that you mentioned a changing global landscape because there's a lot happening, right, in all corners of the globe, right? And certainly, like you just mentioned, a lot happening here in GCC. I wonder if you can speak to what are some of the immediate things that we should watch play out in the Middle East, and what are some of the economic implications?
Okay. So, if we're keeping an eye on the Middle East right now, here's what's key and how it might affect the economy. You have political tensions. These are still a big deal. So, any flare ups could make markets jumpy. So, it's important to be ready for ups and downs. What happens in the US also matters very much. With Trump back in the White House, his policies could shake things up. For example, if he pushes for more energy production in the US, that could affect the whole global energy market. Also, keep an eye on trade relationships with the US imposing tariffs and trade wars. These could impact economies worldwide. Oil production decisions are crucial. What OPEC Plus decides about oil production is also a big deal. If they cut back, it could drive up prices, which is good for oil producing countries, but tough for everyone else. However, the broader energy transition continues to weigh on long term hydrocarbon demand. Artificial intelligence, so AI is on the rise, and as AI continues to advance, it's expected to enhance human output in the coming years, but also create new social and cybersecurity risks. These are areas in tech and beyond where AI may create investment potential. So climate change is also an issue. Action to address the climate crisis is driven by citizens, their governments, companies, and activist groups. Investment in transitioning away from carbon fuels to cleaner alternatives is on the rise. So basically, it's a mix of keeping an eye on traditional factors like oil and politics, while also watching out for new trends like AI and climate action.
Really interesting. So Citi recently hosted a Women in Wealth lunch. You also had a Wealth Outlook event here in Dubai. I'm wondering if there are any trends that you're seeing in terms of, okay, this is what people are thinking about most or asking about most.
So when it comes to investment potential in renewable energy, for example, in EVs in the Middle East, we're seeing some serious momentum in the region. So, taking renewable energy to start with, the region is quickly becoming a global leader, and not just because of its sunny climate, though that definitely helps. The UAE, for example, is investing into one of the world's largest solar plants, which means it won't just generate power during the day, but can supply energy 24/7. That's a game changer. Then there's Saudi Arabia, which has set a goal for 50% of its electricity to come from renewables by 2030. Now, that's a huge shift for a country historically built on oil. And they're backing it up with investments in solar, wind, and even lithium mining, a key material for battery storage and EVs. So what's the big picture here? What we're saying is the GCC is making some serious plays into clean energy and electric mobility. And these aren't just small scale pilot projects, they're multi-billion-dollar bets on the future, whether it's solar farms, battery storage, or homegrown EV production. The region is setting itself up to be a leader in the energy transition. And for investors, well, it means there's a ton of opportunity in infrastructure, technology, and sustainable energy projects. The Middle East isn't just catching up, it's making moves to lead the way.
So I love that you mentioned Saudi as an example, and maybe we can talk a bit about Saudi in particular. In the report, in the publication, you talk about how each country in the GCC has their unique set of priorities, right, for 2025, based on economic strengths, based on challenges that they're facing. Saudi is one of the most promising, right? I would love to talk about what's the kingdom getting right and what can others, whether they are other countries or even people listening to this podcast right now, what can we learn from Saudi and how Saudi is meeting the moment?
Absolutely. So let's look into what Saudi Arabia is doing right. So Saudi Arabia has been on a transformative journey with its Vision 2030 initiative. It's aiming to diversify its economy beyond oil reliance. And this ambitious plan focuses on developing sectors like tourism, entertainment, and technology. Just as Saudi Arabia is diversifying its economy, we should strive to diversify our skill set. So, the modern job market values versatility. Second, I'd say invest in long-term goals. The kingdom's commitment to projects like NEOM reflects a focus on long-term benefits over immediate gains. Third, I would say cultivate resilience and openness to change. Saudi Arabia's shift from an oil-dependent economy to a multifaceted one required resilience and a willingness to embrace change. So number four, and I think most important in our current environment, leverage tech and innovation. The emphasis on developing the tech sector in Saudi Arabia highlights the importance of staying on top of tech advancements.
Yeah, I love that. Maya, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. Thank you for having me.
I'd love to hear what you thought about our conversation. Are you seeing similar growth opportunities in your part of the world? And how are you thinking expansively about your own growth, whether that be financially, personally, or professionally? Let me know in the comment section. Until next time.